Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sitasi Simad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sitasi Simad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navidweep Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. New Dwarka Dhamma Ki Jai. Shishi Gornitai Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadradev Ki Jai. Shishi Rukmini Dwarkadisha Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Dhritarashtra quits home, text number 39. Yudhistiru Vacha Naham Veda Gatim Pitror Bhagavan Kva Gatav Ita Amba Va Hata Putrarta Kva Gata Cha Tapasvini Yudhistiru Vacha Naham Veda Gatim Pitror Bhagavan Kvakata Vitaha Ambava Hatta Putrarta Kvagata Cha Tapasvini Yudhistiru Vacha Naham Veda Gatim Pitror Bhagavan Kvakata Vitaha Ambava Hatta Putrarta Kvakata Cha Tapasvini Yudhistiru Vacha Naham Veda Gatim Pitror Bhagavan Kvakata Vitaha Ambavaka Hatta Putrarta Kvakata Cha Tapasvini. Someone else, please. Yudhistiru Vacha Yudhistiru Vacha Naham Veda Gatim Pitror Yudhistiru Vacha Pitror Manu itaha. Patra. Yudhistiruvacha. Naham Vedagatim Pitror. Bhagavan Kvakata Vitaha. Aham Vakatat Tastini. Yudhistiruvacha. Yudhistiruvacha. Pitor. Mankvakita itaha. Ambava hataputrata. Kvakatat. Aswini, ladies, please. Yudhistiruvacha. Yudhistiruvacha. Mitror. Bhagavan Kvakata Vitaha. Bhava Trata. Kvakata Chatapasvini. Yudhistira Uvacha. Yudhistiruvacha. Maharaj Yudhisthira said, Na, do not. Aham, myself. Veda, know it. Gatim, departure. Pitro, of the uncles. Bhagavan, O godly personality. Kva, where? Gato, gone. Ita, from this place. Amba, mother aunt. Va, either. Hata putra, bereft of her sons. Arta, aggrieved. Kva, where? Gita, gone. Cha, also. Tapasvini, ascetic. Translation, Maharaj Yudhisthira said, O godly personality, I do not know where my two uncles have gone, nor can I find my ascetic aunt who is grief-stricken by the loss of all her sons. Purport, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaj Yudhisthira, as a good soul and devotee of the Lord, was always conscious of the great loss of his aunt and her sufferings as an ascetic. An ascetic is never disturbed by all kinds of sufferings, and that makes him strong and determined on the path of spiritual progress. Queen Gandhari is a typical example of an ascetic because of her marvelous character in many trying situations. She is an ideal woman as mother, wife, and ascetic. And in the history of the world, such character in a woman is rarely found. Om Gyanatamirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. It's great to see all of you again. I missed you all very much. Was thinking of many of you throughout my travels, and it's nice to be back. Appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak a little something from Srimad Bhagavatam today. This purport illustrates very strongly that a devotee, a sober person, one who is focused on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is never disturbed by all kinds of sufferings. And actually, those sufferings that we experience in this life make us strong. Make us strong to experience what is going to be the greatest suffering, and that is leaving this material body. I don't mean for this discussion to scare anyone, to put one in the position of anxiety. But this is a very basic principle that Srila Prabhupada has come to the West, and not only after preaching in the West, but now it's all over the world. Where Srila Prabhupada followed the instructions of his spiritual master and brought Krishna consciousness to the West. And even Srila Prabhupada experienced externally what would be some suffering, where he suffered very difficulty coming across the ocean to the United States, where it was cold, where he didn't know anyone, where he suffered 2 heart attacks. And he came over on the Jaladuta, spending so much time in a small area. But yet Srila Prabhupada was always feeling ecstasy. He was always ecstatic. He was always happy to chant Hare Krishna, to give Krishna consciousness to others. As I was sitting on the plane on a 16-and-a-half-hour flight to Dubai to start with, and then it was another 4.5 or so to Calcutta, I was thinking how, even though there was a lot of space on this plane, on this particular airlines, but still, there's people all around me. There's people complaining. The person in front of you puts their seat back. You're sitting in a seat like this. It's not like wide like this. It's narrow. And I was beginning to think how much of a challenge this was. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe next time I should consider flying first class. Of course, you really pay for it. You really pay for it. Because if I don't pay for it, you know, I'm cramped in for all these hours, but then I'm cramped in having to work so hard to pay the money to have to sit in this little spot or a bigger spot. I was thinking I probably would be feeling, wow, I wish I didn't get this big spot because now I had to work so hard to spend all this money. Maybe there would be some regret there. But then I was thinking about Srila Prabhupada and what he went through. And I was thinking about the austerities that devotees perform to fulfill the instruction of their spiritual master. Traveling Sankirtan. How many of us have traveled on traveling Sankirtan in small van with 3 devotees, 4 devotees possibly? So many austerities we go through in life. But human life is meant to perform austerities. Not the austerities where for material gain, but austerities to progress in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness. Now, let's go over what some of the different sufferings are in material life that we experience. Adhyamic, adhibodic, and adhidaivik. We've heard this many times before. Adhyamic, miseries arising from the mind and the body. In India, where I was staying, I didn't have any heat. And in January, in February, December, January, February, it's quite cool in the morning. Quite cool in the morning. I was trying to remember that verse, mantra sparshas takonteya, shitoshna sukadukada. We're taking cold bath in the morning or the heat during the day. So in the morning it was cold. And then during the day, it got very warm. So in the morning, sweaters, bundled up. But Mangalartik was ecstatic. 1,000 devotees. Panchatattva. Huge deities. Radhamadava. Very tall. Huge. And just the warmth from all the devotees. Being together with so many devotees, chanting ecstatically, glorifying Srila Prabhupada, glorifying Sri Panchatattva, glorifying Sri Radhamadava. It was ecstatic. The faith, the confidence, when you see from other sides of the world, so many devotees came. And this wasn't even the festival. I left before the festival, before many, many devotees came. What they have in Mayapur for the Abhishek, the Maha Abhishek, I heard there was over 10,000 devotees. So seeing this wonderful family that we have here, and we're all connected as a team, helping each other in Krishna consciousness, helping each other in life. We're all performing in austerity. We're all performing something for the benefit of the higher need. As Srila Prabhupada so nicely set an example. So here in these purports that Srila Prabhupada is writing, Maharaj Yudhisthira as a good soul and devotee of the Lord, was always conscious of the great loss of his aunt and her suffering as an ascetic. Maharaj Yudhisthira made a very, very profound point. And that is, we see every day, and this is not exact words, but every day we see so many people around us are leaving. They're going to the court of Yamaraj. But yet we ourselves, we think, this will not happen to me. There were many devotees in India that I saw that I haven't seen for upwards of 4 decades with canes and wheelchairs, walking slowly, not having that energy that they used to have. Gave me a little realization of where I was at. So we all have to become focused on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because that time is coming for everyone. And again, this is I'm not trying to ruin anybody's day here. But in this purport, there's so many types of sufferings that even the great souls have experienced. We don't have to wish for the calamities to come. They just naturally come. Draupadi would pray, please, let the calamities come. Kunti, excuse me. Kunti, let the calamities come. Look what Draupadi went through. But the calamities are just naturally there for us. So when a calamity comes, when there's difficulty, this gives us an opportunity to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to take shelter of the devotees, to take shelter of the holy name. And we've all experienced loss. We've all experienced the loss of something. Even when I was in India, my phone worked fine, but there were places that it wasn't working so well, and I needed it to work. So here I was feeling a loss of, internet. And it was starting to create some anxiety for me. So even on a little scale like this, here it is, a telephone. You have to be so careful in India. We hear so many stories how someone once was at a window, somebody bumped into him, somebody distracted him, and another person took property out of his backpack. So I wanted to be careful of all this in case anything was stolen or I needed some kind of health care. So I got insurance, traveler's insurance. But still, at any time, anything could be taken. No insurance can cover everything. But we have a wonderful insurance for Krishna consciousness and for our umbilical cord back to the spiritual world. It's right here in this bag. The beads. Chanting ecstatically Hare Krishna every day. Being in kirtan, ecstatically chanting every day. And by chanting, by speaking of Krishna, by absorbing ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we can be sober even during the challenging times, the times of loss. When adhyatmic strikes the mind and the body. So adhyatmic, adhibodhic. Miseries arising from other living entities. Traveling in India, on the roads, it's very congested. Vrindavan. I hadn't been to Vrindavan in 25 years. But I was told what to expect. Now the road is wide in front of Krishna Balaram Mandir. It's paved. And on the weekends, it's incredibly packed with cars and people. And over there, they drive with their horns. Here, somebody beeps the horn. It's like we get annoyed. Over there, people beep horns. They're like, okay, yeah, thanks. Thanks for letting me know you're there. I was on the phone with another devotee, Savas Prabhu. He was in Delhi, and I was in Vrindavan, and we were speaking on the phone. No, I was in Jaipur, and he was in Delhi. And it was hilarious because it's like people are just on rickshaws. They're all around me, practically coming this close to me. Even some people bumping me as they're walking in this tight quarters on this road through a little village. And Prabhu is in Delhi, and the horns are just on both sides. The horns are just beeping back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But the nice thing about it, like in Vrindavan, was, for the most part, you hear people going by, and people are like Hare Krishna and Hari Bol and Radhe Radhe, and the shops, they're selling Krishna deities, and they're selling deity clothes and incense. You go to these shops, it's all around Krishna. Hopefully, it stays that way. So it just showed me that if we somehow or another can surround ourselves with Krishna consciousness, with talks of Krishna, hearing of Krishna, surround ourselves with others who are Krishna conscious, who are speaking of Krishna, then these other difficulties are more tolerable. Adidaivik, miseries arising from natural disasters, or weather, heat, cold. Because it was so ecstatic to think about running to Mangal Artik with so many devotees. Even though it was chilly in the morning, and in Vrindavan it was even more chilly. It was in the low 40s in the morning. But just thinking about going to Mangal Artik, going to Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi, having Mangal Artik there, and then seeing Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram, Radhe Sham, Radha Shyama running to the lotus feet of Krishna Balaram and praying to Balaram for strength. It was easier to tolerate that cold weather. It was interesting. One thing I was thinking about when we're speaking about Adidaivik, the miseries that are arising from, say, storms, heavy rains. I know that here in Los Angeles, I followed the weather a little bit, and I saw that it was really raining a lot, and the temperature was cool. Even I saw that for 132 years, the temperature has always gotten out of the 70s. Here, for 132 years, this is the first time that the temperature has never gotten out of the 60-degree range. And on the very first day that I got to Vrindavan, we had a huge storm where it was thunder and lightning. And then it started raining. But the thunder didn't sound like angry thunder, but instead it was reminding devotees of Krishna book. So this is the spiritual vision of a devotee. So again, in life, there's many trying situations. There's difficulties we have to go through. We have to endure that, whether it be the loss of property, the loss of our youth, the loss of our wealth, the loss of our loved ones. But somehow or another, if we can just stay focused, if we can just keep our consciousness, keep our focus on Srila Prabhupada's instructions, then all success will be there. Here in the West, sometimes we don't see, maybe when we speak about success in Krishna consciousness, it might be a little challenging to see the growth of Krishna consciousness. It might be a little bit of challenging, as we stay in one place, to see what's going on around the world. I was amazed to see how things have grown in India, for example. Being in Jaipur, how the temple has grown. It's got a huge dome. It's got all these beautiful stained glass windows all around the temple. Govinda's restaurants. Even in Dubai, a Muslim country. I've had a connection with them for 7 years now. And just to see, despite all the challenges, how many devotees are there, how many devotees are chanting, how many devotees are being born. Srila Prabhupada is there. Srila Prabhupada's books are there. Govinda's restaurant is there. It's really amazing. And what really amazes me even is in Mayapur and Vrindavan, the amount of young devotees that are being made around the world. And they're coming to the Holy Dham every year. I saw devotees from Russia. So many devotees from Russia. And they're so enthusiastic to chant and to dance and to give out Srila Prabhupada's books. Devotees from China. So many devotees from China. And we're here in the West, and we're distributing Srila Prabhupada's books here. How many of those books are ending up in these other countries? So I was actually thinking how I need not think with blinders on, but to think with broad vision. How these books are going all over the world. And we don't know where these books are going to end up. I'm sure if I question devotees, eventually someone will say, yes, I got one of Srila Prabhupada's books in Los Angeles. I got one in New York. I got one, in 1978, in the 70s, in the 80s. I got it in the terminal in New York. You just never know. So this is the wonderful medicine on how to ultimately overcome the sufferings of this body, Adhyatmic, Adhibodic, and Adhidaivik. And as I saw devotees that I haven't seen for many years, they're just as ecstatic as they were when I first met them, say 40 years ago. But yet externally, things are changing. Although it's interesting because I did meet some devotees and I said, "Oh my God, Prabhu, you still look the same." They said, "Yeah, you still look the same too." I mean, how is that possible? But so happiness in Krishna consciousness is not based on any external situation. We can be elderly, we can be young, we can be 5 years old. Krishna consciousness, being happy and ecstatic in Krishna consciousness, is not affected by anything external. In this case, we're speaking the material bodies. So I'd like to stop there and see if anybody has anything they would like to say. Any questions or comments or anything they'd like to, story or anything they'd like to add. We have a few minutes. Yes, Rahul Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Is it a short question? I'll repeat the question. What's the question? So Rahul Prabhu is asking, how many temples did I visit? Well, I went to Mayapur, and I went to Vrindavan, and I went to Jaipur. I also took the time to go to Radha Govindaji Temple, which is the temple when there was the Muslim invasion. They were moved from, Radha Govinda was moved from Vrindavan and brought to Jaipur. These were Rupa Goswami's deities. So we went there. On February 11th, we went to some temples in Navadvip. My son had gotten married. Sachi Sutta had gotten married on February 10th. And so after the next day, Monday, we all went across from Mayapur on this huge, huge boat. We all went down in rickshaws. We all went down to the launch. We all got on this huge boat, which is probably about the length of this temple room here, and as wide as from myself to you, Prabhuji, about that wide, and all packed in. Of course, it wasn't full of all the devotees, but people brought bicycles and whatever motorcycles, and we all packed in, and we went across. And so then we went to Vishnu Priya's temple. Lord Chaitanya's shoes are there. Shoes were like this big. They're huge. Because Lord Chaitanya, of course, was very tall. In fact, in Mayapur, the Lord Chaitanya Panchatattva, so Lord Chaitanya replicates the size of Lord Chaitanya. It's about 9 feet. You think taller? It was huge. And the Panchatattva are breathtaking. They're just so big. And we went to another temple. I don't recall what that temple was, but that was pretty much the temples that I visited. There are no temples in Dubai. It's more private. Private homes, private halls. They have one amazing program, and next time I go, just want to make sure nobody from Dubai, nobody's listening over there, you know. You know, the government people. They have a program where they have a hall on a Friday night, and I couldn't make it because going there, I had to be there on a Sunday for the wedding, so we went after Dubai we spent a few days there, then we, on a Thursday, we flew out, Thursday like just after midnight. But on Fridays, they have this program where there's over 700 people come. And they do have a small place that they put us up in where they have deities. They have Gaunitai deities. Srila Prabhupada is there. And they have a program there. But for the most part, it's just very quiet. They don't go out and do public Harinam. One thing I was thinking is when I was coming back through Dubai, I brought Vrindavan dust and I had it in 2 Ziploc bags. And I didn't put it in my check-in luggage. I just put it in my luggage. And when I got to Dubai, they scan your luggage because we overnighted in Dubai just to break up the trip coming back. And this one customs officer, was dressed in the long white with his, I don't know the name of what they call it, but he says, "What do you have in that bag?" So I said to him, "Well, what are you referring to? Because I have a lot of things it was a backpack." So I opened it up, and then he showed me on the screen. I said, "Oh, that's the Vrindavan dust." And they said, "What's Vrindavan dust?" So I might not have said Hare Krishna, but, oh, Vrindavan dust. So I figured the worst thing they could do is they could take it away from me. Okay. So I brought it. They escorted me. They took my passport. They escorted me, and they brought me into an office. Everything happened very fast. It was right on the way out. It wasn't anything heavy. It was just, we need to see what it is. So here he is carrying the Vrindavan dust. And he's got his hands on it. And he brings it and he hands it to another customs officer and says, he said something in whatever language they speak. And then he said something, Vrindavan something. So I said, oh, she must have asked, well, what did he say it is? So she said, what is this? And I said, this is very, very important to me. It's Vrindavan dust. And it's just really valuable to me. It's very important. So I would appreciate if I could keep it. It has sentimental value to me. So she looked at my passport and she looked in the computer. And she said, okay, you can have your Vrindavan dust. And she gave it back to me. And that was it. It was that easy. Actually, I didn't use the word dust. I used sand. I thought that was a better word, so I used sand. So somehow or another, everyone's being benefited. This person here had Vrindavan dust in his hands. And I'm thinking to myself, the benefit that this person's getting is incredible. So somehow or another, preaching goes on and all around the world. And Srila Prabhupada is very happy with this. He spent a lot of time translating his books, translating, writing, getting up early in Vrindavan and Mayapur, getting up early here and translating. So that's the least we can do is spread Krishna consciousness, help him to spread Krishna consciousness. So, okay. So it's time to finish. Again, it's wonderful to see all of you. I said prayers for you all that you may all attain Krishna consciousness and be happy in this lifetime. And so on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you forever.